What is up, it's your boy Jay Johnny back here in Perim World. Hey, how you doing today, you beautiful Perim people? Today we're gonna be watching episode 1 of Chaotic. We're gonna be doing a little post-comment. We're gonna be doing some like commentary during. We're gonna try to replicate Kira the artist style. I'm gonna try my best. I can't promise anything because I'm not as good as Kira the artist, but we're gonna try anyways. So we'll be cutting out the parts where there's nothing to really say or nothing to contribute, and we'll mostly just be focusing on the parts where I can actually contribute something to the conversation or to the video. So this has been kind of like widely requested, so we're gonna try it. We're gonna see how it goes. If Ganon doesn't like it, we'll take it down, because I mean, like, we'll try our best to stay within anything that Ganon wants, even if it is fair use. So we're gonna try our best, guys. We're gonna try our best. Anyways, that being said, let's go ahead and get started. All right. Oh, it's Chaotic has like some of the sickest sound design ever, guys. It's like absolutely insane. I think it was the Siberian Orchestra. No, that's not right. I can't remember who did it. It's the sound design is just so amazing. Like, this music is just. I'm gonna shut up.
Playtime's over. You can run, but you can't hide. Not from Takinom. I have to admit, I'm disappointed. I expected more of a challenge from the hero of the overworld.
I think right here is where we start seeing like the consistency issues between animation studios start to become an issue, because this is like Tom's like introduction. This is how we're introduced to Major Tom, right? And Tom isn't the type of player to, like, you know, run around and, like, you know, try to, like, do anything. And later on in the episode, we see, like, something that more resembles closely to what Tom would do, where he would, you know, actually fight back or attempt to fight back. We'll get to that when we get there, where he throws a snowball, right? We'll get to that where we get there. But, you know, later on in the episode, we do actually see Tom fight back, which is much more in line with the player that Tom is, or the type of player that Tom is. I mean, it's just kind of weird to me that this is such a glaring oversight. I can only assume it's to stay consistent with the story of, like, you know, I don't know. I have no idea as to why this, you know, why this oversight exists, because it really does hurt Tom's character design from the, or character, like, you know, development from the beginning, because you're like, you start off with this introduction of, oh, he's a coward, and then you get to the actual episode, and despite not understanding what's going on fully, not understanding, like, you know, the stakes of everything, not understanding, you know, how to play in Chaotic, he still tries to fight back. And I think that really shows the type of player that Tom is versus, you know, this, because I can't think of anybody in the main cast that would ever act like this in their first game ever. I just can't. I don't see any of them doing it. Like, I see all of them fighting back, and especially Tom for first and foremost. Like, 100% see Tom actually, you know, playing to win in this situation. Whatever. Just saying, this is like when we start seeing the glaring issues between episode 1 and, you know, so on. So
look, just give me a second to... Easy!
What's he doing?
I would like to know why there is no onboarding system for new players in Chaotic. I would love to know that, because, like, it doesn't make any sense to, like, throw them into the game and then pair them up with Sam Shady, somebody that, you know, we know that Kaz has had multiple run-ins with previously, right? And to pair him up with Sam Shady without giving him an onboard system. I wonder if it's like a matter of whenever you get the code, shortly afterwards is when the onboarding starts, and since Tom waited until midnight to put the code in, he missed the onboarding session, and that's why it was so, like, close between when he ported in versus you know when he got his code. It was so close to when his next match was when he ported it in, and even then it's also really weird, because in Chaotic, it was 12:05. It was midnight. It was 5 minutes after midnight when Tom was scheduled to have his match. And I don't know. it's just weird. It's just a weird thing. We'll get to the whole time thing later, but like it's just weird that it's just weird, you know, that there is no onboarding system. Tom was just kind of thrown into this. I would love to hear like an actual explanation from Martin as to why. I genuinely, my headcanon is that Tom, since he waited to put the code in, that's why he doesn't have, you know, an onboarding system, and that everybody else had, who like, you know, ported in that day, had an onboarding system. That's my personal headcanon, because it's the one that makes sense, you know, where you would have had the chance to learn, you know, about like the character select screen, about, you know, the options, the menu, and, you know, actually get to experience a battle in Perim. If you guys don't know, we'll just keep going.
He's the bravest of the brave. Really?
Time out! Time out!
He's got power, he's got skills. In Perim, he's the man. Problem is, he's only Maxor on the outside. On the inside, he's me.
Game over, Tom.
It's such a good take on the whole, now you may be wondering how I got here, like, niche that was going around, like, back in the early 2000s, where, you know, like, they would freeze frame, and, you know, the character would look at the screen, or look at the camera and be like, now you may be wondering how I got here. Well, it all started, it's such a great take on that, because it does it in a way that's natural. It doesn't do it in a way that feels forced. And whereas like every other thing will like pause the show to do so, but they'll like, but Chaotic, instead of what they did was they were like, okay, well we're gonna you know, have this fight going on, and then we're gonna have like an exposition dump as it's going on about like who these characters are, why you should care. It's genuinely, Chaotic was like ahead of its time in storytelling, and I love that so much. I genuinely, once we hit episode 2, it's going to have like such a drastic, like, you know, you know, separate idea or concept, different, like entirely. Oh my god, storytelling in Chaotic is peak. Like, let's just say that it's just peak. It's just, there's a lot of questionable choices, but otherwise it's peak.
Welcome to Chaotic.
Nostalgia! Yeah, nostalgia! Pause. This is the only time I'm ever going to mention this. This is the only time I'll ever mention this. The fact that he ran by so many cool creatures and he scanned Dractyl? My brother. Look at this, right? Oh. Backtrack. I just look at all the creatures he's running by. He's running by Magmon. He's running by Odu Bathax. He's running by Mesmar. I think that's Agio. I think that's Agio. I think that's Agio. I mean, Nothalax, Lord Von Blood, Prince Medinu, Chaor. Is that Atacat? I can't tell. I think that's Atacat. That might be Atacat. That's either Atacat. I don't think it's Ramusa. That might be Ramusa. But the fact he scanned Dractyl, bro, war crime. God. I know it's not canon, but still, absolutely insane. Unhinged behavior from Thomas. Unhinged behavior.
Doing what I usually do after school. Playing Chaotic in the cafe.
Okay. This right here is probably the most frustrating. Let me see if I can get it back to where, like, when it starts. Okay, so right here, you can't see it because the player. But there's a Chaor with an overworlder on his team, bro. That's impossible because Chaor has loyal. You can't do that. You can't do that, bro.
I was doing what I usually do after school.
And then
Play
right
chaotic
here,
in the
right here,
cafeteria.
right here,
Chaor fires a lava
right here. Bro, what is this team? And I think that's Nothalax. I think that's beta Nothalax because regular Nothalax is green, but the art is the exact same outside of that. We also actually see, later on in this episode, we see regular Nothalax too. So, it's really confusing that it switches between the two, but I'm 90% certain this is Nothalax. And then this is Yakis. This is the first time we ever see Yakis, and he never gets mentioned again for, like, you know, another like, what, 12 episodes? I can't remember the exact episode. And then, I think this is Kenyan? I'm probably wrong on that one. Cougar, Chaor, and then Prithian. This is right. This is right.
attack. You lose 15 energy.
Okay, Chaor was the one that used the attack. She just picked up Chaor. Is she gonna throw the card? Is she gonna steal the card? That doesn't stop Chaor from using Lavalanche. Hello? Earth the girl. Come on, girl. What's up with that? What's up, man? Come on. What's up?
Any day now, Major Tom.
Don't be in such a rush to get beaten. Battle
Okay,
team
and like I was...
Let's get chaotic.
And like I was saying, right? Oh, there's Nothalax. See, there's regular Nothalax. See, there's green Nothalax. She had a pink Nothalax. This implies that they're shiny creature. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's not shiny hunting. It's just wrong. It was just objectively wrong. What's up with that? What's up? What's up? That's a glaring issue in the same episode, like minutes apart. Bro. I'm just saying. Jumping between the beta art designs and the final art designs, it can get a bit confusing for people that are watching. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Because we're going to get introduced to Nothalax later, and he's green, and she had a pink Nothalax, unless it's Nothalax's sister, Nostrax. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't, okay? Also, Tom is cheating because guess who's loyal? Guess who's loyal? That's right, Maxor's loyal. But there's Dracnus. Why does everybody have Dracnus on their team? Whatever. Just keep going.
Maxor attacks Rothar with the Cyclones.
Cougar uses the Song of Treachery.
There goes Dracnus, taking it to naught.
There goes Dracnus taking it to Nothalax. We just saw Dracnus get coded. What do you mean there goes Dracnus taking it to Nothalax? What do you mean, Tom? What do you mean? Why are you happy? Is it a good thing? Is it a good thing? Did you plan for that? Why did Dracnus go down there if you took... Calm myself.
Relax. 10 energy left. Come on, Maxor.
There goes Dracnus taking it to Nothalax, and then you still have to fight Nothalax? Brother, my brother in Christ. Thomas, what are you doing? Thomas Majors, what are you doing? Oh my god. What? Bro, I don't know how he got his transport code. I don't know how he got his transport code. Bro did not deserve it. A, he's a cheater, and B, bro, what is he doing?
A rock wave! Yes! No!
Nice one, Tom. You're getting good at this.
Hey, Kaz. Yeah, those overworld strategy tips you gave me really...
Bro, again? Why was Dracnus on his team if it's... No. We're just gonna let this play. We're not gonna...
Chaotic mail? That's weird. A bunch of letters.
No way. Tom, it's a password. You got a password to Chaotic. Dude, this is it. You got the password to hook up your scanner. You can transport to Chaotic and play for real.
Right. What an imagination, huh? Kaz loves...
Okay, so this is set in the early 2000s, right? In a world where Chaotic's like a big card game, right? This is set in the early 2000s, where forums were the thing. There were online forums everywhere where people communicated about gameplay strategies, ideas, or anything like that. And even if you somehow say nobody talked about them on the forums, they have access to all the cards that they scan in Perim on the online client. Don't you think like a regular player might go, hey, this card was never released in with this stat spread or something like that? Like we see Cool Tom has like this super upgraded form of Victar, but Victar has only ever had one printing. Don't you think when he uses that on the online client, the people might go, he's cheating? Or question something, or ask questions, and then he'll be like, alright, go, I scanned it in Chaotic, and then like, there'll be physical proof and evidence. I'm just saying it's very questionable that everybody's mocking Kaz right now, despite the fact that in this scenario, it's perfectly reasonable. Like, in the world of Chaotic, it's perfectly reasonable to believe that Chaotic exists simply based off all the other information and facts that are going on. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense why nobody believes him. It just does not. It does not.
Tom, this is so major. You're gonna meet Maxor. And I'll introduce you to Blue Guy.
Dude, it's so weird that the second creature he mentions, I get the Maxor mention, but it's so weird that the second creature he mentions is Bluegon. Like, I am fully convinced the Bluegon is a major character, A, because it's Brian Gannon's favorite creature, and B, because it's the second creature mentioned by name in a conversation, in general. Like, I get, like, in the card game, like, when they're playing, right, Max or Nothalax, whatever, I get that, but, like, to have him specifically called out in a conversation between one of the main characters and another one of the main characters, there has to be some level of importance there, and that we know that he knows the Frozen, so I'm genuinely convinced that Bluegon is a much more important character than we've been led to believe prior. Genuinely convinced. That song is such a banger. I love it so much. I unironically listen to it for hours on end on loop. It's called It's the Cure for the Common Code. So it's not cold, it's code, like, Chaotic code. It is, I'm 90% certain it's an original song written for Chaotic, because it's so ultra specific, and I genuinely, such an amazing song. I highly recommend you guys check it out if you guys haven't already. It's so good. It's such a good song.
You didn't use your password yet. Are you cracked?
Not this again. Kaz, listen.
No, you listen. That code is only valid today. If you don't use it now, you'll probably never get another one. You'll never see Perim or Maxor or anything. It's almost midnight. I know it sounds insane, but you have to trust me. Do it.
So it's so weird that he hesitates. There's so many things I want to talk about here, right? It's so weird that he hesitates to put the code in because it wasn't officially licensed code that was sent by Chaotic. Like, it showed up in his Chaotic mail, meaning it's real. It's authentic. There's no reason not to put the code in. At worst, you get like a promo card. At best, you find out that Kaz is telling the truth and you go to Perim. Like, there's no downside to this, right? It just doesn't make any sense to hesitate because it's real. And then second of all, why does it only last for the day? That doesn't make any sense. That brings me back to like the idea that like, I think there's an onboarding system, and if you miss that onboarding system, you don't get another onboarding like time. And so they don't know when they're going to do their next batch of imports, so there's no point in letting you have that code. It'll just expire because like obviously like you didn't use it. So it's I think like genuinely I think that it doesn't make sense to have it only last 24 hours. Also, what happens if a player other than Tom were to put in the code that Tom got? Is it locked to his account? Is the code like locked to Tom's account where only Tom has, it can only work for Tom? Or could another person that was in that room, could they have like, memorized the code and then typed it in when I got home and ported it to Perim. I'm really curious about how that would have worked, because that feels like, you know, a glaring oversight. Like, you know, some guy with photo memory, you know, is like watching Tom's game, the code pops up after Tom clicks the mail button, and the guy memorizes the code, then puts it into a scanner almost immediately. What happens then? Is it locked to Tom's scanner, or is it locked to his account? Or would that person now be able to port the Perim back with Tom's account? Very curious as to see how that works, because it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea. I would love to see that played with in the future. I could definitely see like people like, you know, buying and selling chaotic codes whenever they get the codes on the black market or something. I could definitely see that being an episode. It's just such a interesting idea. Yeah, whatever. Back to the episode.
I'm as crazy as he is. Crazy. What the? Great. Now it's broken. I can't access my deck. You're a wacko, Kaz. And you owe me a new scanner.
Just how quickly he threw the scanner out without trying to get it repaired, without trying to call Kaz on the phone, without doing so many other things where he could have done. Like, he could have taken this to a store and gotten it repaired, like, almost immediately, like, nullifying half of the episode for episode 2. He could have called Kaz and asked for an explanation. Kaz would have been like, hey, hold on to the scanner, take it to school with you, it's going to start beeping red when it does. You know, click it. Even if you don't believe me that, you know, it doesn't working there, you know, like he could always be like, okay, you got me. It's just updating right now. Wait until it starts flashing red and then click the button. Like, there's so many other things that he should have done in that situation. We know that he could apparently get a new one because he like says like, Kaz, you owe me a new scanner, right? We know he could apparently get another one, but like he could have just saved the money by just simply holding on to it and like, you know, getting in Kaz's space at school the next day and be like, hey, my scanner, it's not working. What'd you do to it, man? What'd you do to it? What, that code you had me put in, it's broke my scanner. You know, so many other things he could have done that would have been a lot more reasonable than just throwing it in the trash. It just does not make any sense. Also, the fact that that scanner is not busted after being thrown out of a second-story building into a trash can? Nokias, baby. Nokias. Chaotic scanners are Nokia phones confirmed. That's the only way that makes sense. Only way. Dude, Peyton, did you guys see Peyton? Peyton in the background? There was Peyton in the background. Did you guys see Peyton in the background? Oh my god, yes! Chaotic is this really weird thing where they reuse characters frequently for like random things. And in this case, it was Peyton. You're gonna see Peyton pop up in and out of the episode pretty periodically, as a way of foreshadowing that Peyton's gonna be introduced. Chaotic's all about foreshadowing. 90% of Chaotic is foreshadowing another future event, or a previous event, you know, like from the client sphere. 90% of Chaotic is literally just foreshadowing, and yeah.
No way.
Tom, there is worse things to port to there. There was way worse things to port to Chaotic and bro. It is also weird that they don't have like a closed selection thing for like people who like, you know, port there in their underwear. Like if a girl were to do it, would she just be walking around in her underwear for like until she ported back, or like how would that work? You know, like it feels very violating to do that. Like what if somebody trips and accidentally clicks the button on their scanner to port the Perim and in the shower, like, or like, you know, as they're getting something out of their locker at school or at the gym, like what happens then? Like are they just stuck in the towel or nude? Like is there like any safety measures against something like that? Because it just doesn't make sense to, like, you know, especially for a new player, to not have, you know, an option for them to, you know, make themselves decent. You know what I mean? So also, I'm not gonna try to guess all the creatures that are popping up on there, but like a lot of them have like their beta designs instead of like their, you know, new designs, and it's really interesting to, like, you know, just see how many of the old beta art assets got reused versus, you know, yeah.
I got a new lava pond scan. Want to check it out?
Maybe later. Let's hang here for a while. I hear there's a whole bunch of newbies coming in today.
Two things. A, he got a new lava pan scan. What does that mean? Like, do you want to check it out, like, in the drome? Isn't it the same as the regular lava pond? What is there? Just a couple of different rocks are going to be different locations? Is that the difference between the two lava ponds? Is that what the difference is? Because we know the lava pond is, like, a singular location in Perim. That's so I don't get what the difference would be between one lava pond scan and another lava pond scan. And another thing, how do they know the new players are going to be there? Is there just a memo that goes out to all chaotic players? Hey guys, we're getting new players. Also, again, as a reminder, Tom put his code in at midnight of the previous day. Why does he think they're getting new players in now? That doesn't make any sense, because if it's only lasts until that day, like, Tom wouldn't have... it doesn't make any sense. No logical sense is being made there. It just does not make any sense as to why they think that new players will be showing up now when it's midnight. I mean, granted, maybe, like, it's a different time zone for them, but even then, if it's a time zone-based thing, well, your day would probably be in the next day, or you'd be in the previous day. Also, do they go by, like, server time for chaotic, or do they go by country time, or do they use UTC? Could Tom's code have lasted another couple hours if they used UTC? Like, this begs so many questions. This statement, because Tom put his code in at exactly midnight, begs so many questions as to, like, how this works. Whatever. We're gonna ignore the details. Ignore the fine print. Screw the fine print. We're not going to pay attention to that.
That's always fun.
Major Tom, your first battle's in 3 minutes. I'm afraid.
Your first battle's in 3 minutes. I said 5. 3 minutes. Okay, so at midnight, Tom ports to chaotic. Probably about 2 minutes of running and screaming away from the robot. Leaving you at 12:05. It is 5 minutes past midnight. Why? Why would you expect, wouldn't his chaotic self be tired if he had ported there right as he got his code and need to go to get sleep? Do they need sleep? Yeah, they do need sleep, because we see them pass out later on in the series. We see him fall asleep later on in the series in a drome. So, that begs the question, why have his match scheduled for 5 o'clock in, like, midnight, 5 minutes after midnight, his time zone? That doesn't make any sense. Again, the only way this all makes sense is that they just use UTC. That's the only way this makes sense, because they use the UTC as a default, and then they port there, and then question. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Whatever.
This can't be happening. It can't. I must be going.
Crazy?
Huh?
Good thing you were screaming so loud, or I never would have found you in time. I told you.
Can we just talk about how, like, there's no hurt feelings from Kaz? Like, he isn't upset that his best friend kept calling him insane. His best friend kept, like, saying he's unbelievable. Like, anything like that. He's just like, dude, I'm happy you're here. Like, can we just talk about, like, these two have a true bromance. And I can respect and appreciate that. I can respect and appreciate that for what it is. Like, throughout the story, it gets challenged, but it never breaks. I can respect, appreciate, and love that.
See this? It's a battle drone. The Krellin drone, to be exact. There's 7 battle drones to play, just like online. Each one's run by a code master. Pretty cool, huh? I'll tell you more later, after you win your first match.
But I don't have my cards.
Trust me, you don't need them.
So we're gonna play online?
Not exactly.
Hey!
You're telling me Kaz has told him all about Perim. Kaz has told him about chaotic. And he's never explained to Tom, hey, whenever I port there, I become the creature. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I'm 99% convinced now that Tom does just not listen to Kaz whenever he's talking. Like, you cannot convince me he does after this exact moment where, you know, you can't convince me. You cannot convince me.
Welcome to Battledrome Krellin. Tom Majors, chaotic code name, Major Tom. Please step forward.
See, it's really weird that he says Tom Majors, or that the PC says Tom Majors, because you would assume his name would actually be Thomas, right? Like, because Tom is short for Thomas 9 times out of 10. You would assume that Tom would be short for Thomas, but every other character has their name, like, lengthened for what their name actually is. So it's really weird that Tom is Tom. It's weird. That's weird, right? Like, is that weird to me? Also, by the way, this breaks the faux pas of the internet in the early 2000s. You do not tell people your real name. Even now, it's questionable to tell people your real name. It's a lot less because, you know, the world is so connected at this point that, you know, kind of like, it's important to know people's real names. And some people want to, like, you know, gain notability, whatever, right? It's a lot less faux pas now. But in the early 2000s, this is, oh, God. Dude, I genuinely, why? There were people who, like, worked in tech and who were online and, like, you know, gamers, and they agreed that this was a good idea to have them list their real name. Bro.
Okay, who am I playing?
Samuel Murakami. Chaotic code name, Sam Shady.
For those of you who don't know, Sam Shady is, like, super, like, Samuel Murakami. Sam Shady is based off of somebody named Samuel Murakami, and he is super embedded into, you know, translation culture for Yu-Gi-Oh! So much so that he was actually the person who renamed Slight for the Sky Dragon to Slight for the Sky Dragon from its original name in Japanese. That's how embedded into Yu-Gi-Oh! Translation culture is that he was literally the person to name a character that helped define early 2000s culture. Genuinely, this guy is one of the most amazing people in gaming culture in general, and he does not get the love and respect that he deserves. Let me say that much, especially by the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. Like, you guys take this guy for granted. He is still doing translation work for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime to this day. That's how amazing this guy is. I mean, granted, you know, it's sevens, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, so it's not, but still, he's doing translation, or it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, so still, it's still kind of like in the air, but like he's still doing translation for it though, and that's genuinely iconic guy, absolutely iconic guy.
Help you out. What's your tribe?
Well, I use mostly Overworld cards, and I almost always use Maxor.
Why don't you just hand over your deck? Stop talking. Down here on your scanner.
Huh?
Don't talk strategy with him. He's the enemy.
Oh.
Okay, set up your battle team. He can't see your cards, but don't blab anymore.
All right. Just tell me how to work this thing, will ya?
You work it just like the online Chaotic, only instead of a keyboard. That's right. Now this is a one-on-one battle, just to get your feet wet. So pick a creature.
I better go with Maxor.
Good choice. Now Sam Shady's doing the exact same thing. He's picking battle gear and music too. One of each. Here's a tip. Sam's like me. He stacks his decks with Underworlders.
If he's...
So let me get this straight. Right? Let me get this straight. So he tells... Bro is actually coaching. Like, legitimately coaching. Genuinely coaching. Loki might be kind of cheating. Not gonna lie. Just slightly might be kind of cheating. Just a little bit. Might be kind of cheating. And we're supposed to feel bad for Tom. We're supposed to not like Sam Shady. Like, I'm sorry. So far, we've seen Tom play 2 games of Chaotic, and both of them he cheated in, even if technically this one is Kaz's fault. Technically, it is Kaz's fault because he's the one that's blabbing. But that doesn't change the fact that as of right now, We have seen Tom cheat twice. One by having Dracnus on a team with Maxor, and another by literally being coached by Kaz. I'm just saying. What's happening right now, if it were to happen in an event, Tom would be disqualified for coaching. And Kaz would be disqualified for coaching. Just saying.
Gonna use an Underworld creature. The attacks will probably be mostly fire element attacks. I better hook up Maxor with an Aqua Shield.
Like, genuinely, what Kaz just said led to Tom making a choice in gameplay. Genuinely, actually coaching. Genuinely.
And for Music, just in case I need a real power boost, maybe Fortissimo.
I don't know what kind of... As a reminder, this guy thinks that he's about to play the card game. I could understand if he knew Fortissimo made him big during the fight as to why he picked Fortissimo. But bro thinks he's about to play the card game. And Fortissimo is garbage. Editor me, throw up Fortissimo on the screen, please. Emphasize how bad this card is. Absolute dog water. Garbage. It was garbage in Dawn of Perim. It's garbage now.
Newbie.
Alright. Now, so, did you see the Takinom? Okay, you saw the Takinom, right? Now, watch this. It's red! The Takinom was yellowish orange. This is like a major oversight. This is like not even like a minor one. This is like massively different, bad. Like, why? How? How did this happen? I do not understand.
I'm Maxor? Where's the zipper? Get me out of this! Ah!
This is gonna be a blast.
Major Tom as Maxor versus Sam Shady as Takinom at Glacier Plains. Let the battle begin. Battle? You mean we're supposed to?
What did he think he was doing when he transformed into Maxor? Did he think he was just cosplaying? Did he think this was just dress up? Did he think... When he noticed he was Maxor, what do you think was going through his brain about what was about to happen? Did he just not think that far ahead? Is that what was going on? Because clearly, Tom is not that bright. That's what I'm getting from this episode. Is Tom very bad at deductive reasoning? Very, very bad at deductive reasoning.
Oh boy.
I'm 99% certain that is the only time we ever see that flash animation to transport them to Perim. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure every other time it's a cutaway. So that is very interesting that they like chose to scrap that. Very interesting.
That was embarrassing. Good thing nobody saw it.
Yo, it's Peyton! It's Peyton! Do you guys see Peyton? I also think that is ooh, what's his name? Not Tartarecker. That's not Tartarecker. That's one of the... Because he's a named character. I can't remember his name. He's the skater guy. I can't remember his name, though. It's gonna bug me. I'll look it up later. But it's... Oh, my God. Yeah, the guy, like, right next to Peyton, to the right of Peyton. Well, to the right of the viewer watching, it's to Peyton. It's to Peyton's right. It's to Peyton's right. The guy right there, with the beanie. That he's a named character. I just can't remember his name. I think it's Herculeon. No, that's not Herculeon. I'm crazy. I'm tripping. Also, if you hear Peyton's laugh, that's not Peyton's voice. That's not Peyton's voice actor. Because that's not Mark Thompson. That's somebody else entirely, I think. I could be wrong. On that, but that didn't sound like a Mark Thompson laugh. That didn't sound like a Mark Thompson laugh.
Experience, right?
Well, things are getting a little too hot. So, no thanks.
You know, it is. I didn't mention this earlier, but it is weird to see Takinom use fire attacks because in the original card she doesn't have attribute fire, but the beta version of Takinom did have attribute fire, and a lot of the early interpretations of the show play off of the beta versions of the cards because that's what they were working with. Because the show was about 6 months in production before the card game released, or before the card game was finalized. So the show was already in production whenever the cards are being finalized, meaning that, you know, a lot of the stuff that was made, a lot of the changes that were made later on weren't made effective during the show's run. They had to wait until, you know, the show had to wait until later on into the series to catch up with the card game whenever it came to, like, you know, making sure effects were, you know, locked in. So it's really interesting to see Takinom use fire whenever, like I said, OG Takinom did not have access to fire.
I like to keep things cool.
This is really cool. Torrent of flame!
Okay, that doesn't look like torrent of flame. That looks like firing. That looks like Takinom should be taking damage right now. That's what that looks like. Also, can we talk about, like, how easy Sam Shady is going on Tom right now? He's playing a character with 40E. Like, a lot of people give Sam Shady grief for being, like, you know, a mean person, but, like, he's playing a character with 40E. Maxor is playing, Tom is playing as a character with 70E. And he isn't relentlessly chasing and attacking Maxor. He's giving Tom, sorry, I'm going to switch between Tom and Maxor. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Maxor and I'm talking about Tom. But he's giving Tom, like, the time to actually, like, you know, run. And he's not immediately just going, like, spam, spam, spam. Because later on in the series, we do see whenever Tom fights Krellin, I want to say it's Krellin. It's either Krellin or Hotek. It's one of the Codemasters. It's the one where, I think it's, I think it's Krellin, because Krellin's the one with the past creatures. Whenever we see him fighting Krellin, we see him using flash kick after flash kick after flash kick to stack his location deck. And he's just spamming flash kick. So we know it's possible to just spam attacks. So it's really weird that, you know, it really says a lot to Sam Shady that he's allowing Tom the time to, like, catch a breath and not just spamming him with, like, torrent of flame, torrent of flame, torrent of flame, torrent of flame. Because this entire time, while Tom is falling, he could be shooting fireballs at him, like, the entire time. He could just be, well, keep going, you know, and he doesn't. And I think that says a lot about Sam Shady's character as a teacher. I think that's, you know, not enough people give him credit for that. I think that's a good guy, Sam Shady, good guy. And he also named Slide for the Sky Dragon, so I give him a default because, you know, he named the best Egyptian god card. Like, you know, you gotta cut him some slack.
That was kind of cool.
I think that is the coolest Maxor has ever looked. I think that is objectively the coolest Maxor has ever looked in the entire series. And it sucks because A, it's in the Flash animation. I'm not a big fan of the Flash animation. And B, because it was Tom and not Maxor. Your coolest, like, you know, your coolest pose was done by somebody who wasn't you. It's just funny. It's just funny.
What's he doing?
Snowball attack!
Yeah, see, this is what I mean whenever I said, like, it goes contradictory to, like, the intro goes contradictory to Tom's character whenever it's doing it. Because we know, A, the introduction is not actually what happens. But B, we see that Tom is a character that's willing to fight back, even if he doesn't fully understand the grasp of, like, everything that's going on. But he understands, you know, like, you know, I need to do this. This is how I win this fight. I must do this. And we see him take action despite the fact that he doesn't have a full grasp on the scenario. I think it says a lot about Tom's character. Also, look at Sam Shady's smirk. Look at Sam Shady's smirk right now, okay? Like, he's like, there's some pep in you. There's some pep in you. I see that now.
Chocolate milkshake. Make it a double.
I wonder if they have to pay for the food at the port court, if they just get it. Like, do you have to, like, get a scan of a particular creature or, like, you know, anything like that to get the food in the port court, or do you just get it? Because later on, we do see Peyton order, like, a lot of food, and then, like, it not really impact him as an individual until, like, he ports back, and then, like, you know, he's, yeah, so hungry, but, like, it's just weird. It's weird. It's weird on some. I just wonder. It's a question. Ganon, it's a question.
Use your music, your battle gear.
Okay, I don't care who you are. That would code a person. Does not matter. You could be Ani, you could be servant of Ani, nutcheck, immediate KO. Okay? I don't care. It does not matter. You're gone. Get out of your code. You're actually code. And B, use your battle gear. Use your music. Oh, thanks, man. That helps so much. While you're at it, why don't you tell the guys who were on the, you know, TV screen playing football, just score a touchdown. Just score a touchdown. You're so useful, Kaz. So useful. Oh my god. Also, we don't see Sam Shady use music. Again, if his music is cock, he could cock right now and most likely code Tom as it is. Just saying, Sam Shady, good guy Sam Shady. Good guy Sam Shady.
Time out! Time out! No.
See, right there. He says timeout. And Sam Shady, instead of attacking, stops. I'm just saying, guys. Good guy Sam Shady. Genuinely, this confirms good guy Sam Shady.
Game over, Tom. Welcome to Chaotic.
They said the thing. Roll credits. Actually, roll credits. And we end on a literal cliffhanger. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I get why Chaotic was so big. This is like the episode that defined the entire Chaotic hype. This is the episode that defined Chaotic for what it was and what it will be and what it is. Is there a lot of inconsistencies? Is there a lot of unanswered questions that really need answers? Yes and yes. But the animation style, while not my favorite, definitely was an animation style of its generation. Definitely was so iconic in its own right. You know, the storytelling is so well done overall, for the most part. Like, there's questionable character choices, but overall, the storytelling is so well done from the get-go, where you feel this smooth transition from point A to point B to point C, where it's like, you know, there's no real... They're at school. They're playing Chaotic after school. They're going home because, you know, Kaz is being a little crazy. Kaz calls Tom, you know, shortly before midnight and is like, hey, man, like, why didn't you put in your code to Perim? And there's so many things. There's so many things that Chaotic does right. And I feel like once we get to episode 2, which is going to be next week, I feel like once we get to episode 2 and we cover part 2 of Welcome to Chaotic part 2, I feel like, you know, we're going to see a lot more details where we can, like, you know, fully dive in, because there's a lot more things to talk about in part 2, because part 1 is more establishing, but part 2 we start learning more about the world. We start learning a bit more about Chaotic itself. We start learning a bit more about the characters overall. Like, we get to meet Sarah. There's so much more in part 2 to discuss than part 1, but part 1, it builds a world, and part 2 just establishes that world. But that being said though, guys, tell me what you guys think about the episode review. Tell me what you guys think about, like, you know, the episode conversation that's been going on throughout the episode. And tell me what you guys think. Overall, I think this episode's peak. A lot of questionable choices, but I think, you know, it is, you know, the establishment of Chaotic as its own thing, as its own animation, as its own... Yes, it is Chaotic. It was good enough to get me hooked enough to, like, you know, buy merchandise for it. It is good. I love Chaotic, and I mean this episode just embodies every reason as to why I love Chaotic, because of how it does its story, how it did its characters. Oh, it's just so good. It's just so good. But before I keep going and ranting, let me know if you guys thought this was a good style of video. If you guys have any thoughts or anything that I can add to these kind of videos to make them a little better, let me know that more down in the comment section down below, and I'll be seeing you guys later in Chaotic. So for now, let's port to Perim.